I never thought I'd be writing a post like this, but here I am. My girlfriend Jessica, 28F, and I, 30M, have been together for 8 years. We met when I was 22 and she was 20, both of us just starting out in our careers. I'm a fashion designer, and I was at the hotel where she worked for a fashion show. Jessica was working as a front desk clerk at the time, but her dedication and work ethic were clear even then. I grew up in a family of artists. My mom is a painter and my dad is a sculptor. They always encouraged me to pursue my passion for fashion. Jessica came from a more traditional background. Her parents wanted her to become a doctor or lawyer, but she was determined to make her own way in the hospitality industry. When we first met, I was struck by Jessica's professionalism and how she handled a difficult guest with grace. I found myself coming back to the hotel more often, always finding excuses to talk to her. My friends teased me about my obvious crush, but I was too nervous to ask her out. Finally, on my 23rd birthday, I decided to take the plunge. I was having a party at the hotel, and I invited Jessica. To my surprise, she came. In front of all my friends and family, I gathered my courage and asked her to be my girlfriend. The look of joy on her face is something I'll never forget. Everyone cheered, and it felt like the start of something amazing. For the first few years, things were great. We supported each other's careers and dreams. I was there when Jessica got promoted to manager, and she was my biggest cheerleader when I launched my first fashion line. We talked about our future together, dreaming of marriage and maybe even kids someday. Jessica's career at the hotel took off. She quickly rose through the ranks, impressing her superiors with her dedication and innovative ideas. By the time she was 26, she had become one of the youngest senior managers in the hotel's history. I was so proud of her achievements. My career was going well too. I had established myself in the local fashion scene and was starting to get recognition in bigger markets. Jessica and I often joke that we were the perfect power couple, fashion and hospitality. We had our struggles, of course. Jessica's job often required long hours and there were times when we barely saw each other. My work could be stressful too, especially around Fashion Week. But we always made time for each other, even if it was just a quick lunch or a late-night movie at home. About a year ago, things started to change. Jessica began working even later than usual. She said the hotel was implementing new systems and she needed to put in extra hours to oversee the transition. It made sense, so I didn't question it. I trusted her completely. Looking back, I can see some signs that I missed. Jessica became more protective of her phone. She started taking more business trips than usual. There were a few times when I called the hotel late at night and was told she had already left. But I brushed these things off, telling myself I was being paranoid. A few months ago, we started talking about moving to a new apartment. Our lease was up, and we thought it might be nice to have a change of scenery. Jessica became really focused on one particular building. It was nice enough, but I didn't understand why she was so set on it. She said it was closer to work and had better amenities. I went along with it, happy to see her excited about something. We moved into the new place about 2 months ago. Everything seemed fine at first. Jessica seemed happier, and I thought maybe the move had been good for us. I was busy with a new collection, so I didn't notice anything unusual. Then, last week, everything fell apart. My car was stolen from our building's parking area. I was frustrated and went to the building manager to see if they had any security camera footage that might help. As we were reviewing the footage, I noticed something odd. On nights when Jessica had told me she was working late, the camera showed her coming home at her regular time. But instead of coming up to our apartment, she would go into another unit in our building. I asked the manager whose apartment it was, trying to keep my voice steady. He told me it belonged to Jessica's boss from the hotel. In that moment, everything clicked into place. The late nights, the protected behavior with her phone, her insistence on this specific building. Jessica hadn't been working late all those times, she had been going to her boss's apartment. They had been having an affair, right under my nose, for who knows how long. I confronted Jessica when she got home that night. At first, she tried to deny it, making up excuses about work meetings and project planning sessions. But when I told her about the security footage, she broke down. Through her tears, she admitted that she had been sleeping with her boss for over a year. She said it started innocently, late nights working on a big project for the hotel. Her boss had been supportive and encouraging. One night, they had too much to drink while celebrating a successful presentation, and things escalated. After that, it became a regular thing. Jessica swore that she never meant for it to happen, that she still loved me. She said she had wanted to end it many times but was afraid of what it would do to her career. The move to this building had been her boss's idea, a way for them to be closer without raising suspicion. I felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. 8 years of memories, of trust, of love, all of it felt tainted now. I couldn't stand to look at Jessica. I told her to pack a bag and get out. She tried to argue, to beg for another chance, but I couldn't hear it. I needed her gone. For the past week, I've been staying with my friend Mark. I couldn't bear to be in that apartment, knowing what had been happening there. Mark has been great, giving me space when I need it but also making sure I'm eating and taking care of myself. Jessica has been trying to contact me nonstop. Calls, texts, emails, I've ignored them all. Her friends have reached out too, asking me to talk to her. I'm not ready. I don't know if I'll ever be ready. My family has been supportive. My parents offered to let me move back home for a while, but I need some independence right now. My sister has been checking in on me daily, making sure I'm okay. I'm throwing myself into my work, trying to stay distracted. I have a big fashion show coming up in a few months, and I'm using that as my focus. But when I'm alone at night, all I can think about is Jessica with her boss, how easily she lied to me for so long. I'm angry, I'm hurt, and I feel like an idiot for not seeing it sooner. I keep replaying moments in my head, wondering if there were signs I missed. Should I have known something was wrong? Could I have done something differently? I know I need to focus on moving forward, but right now I'm just trying to get through each day. I don't know how I'll ever be able to trust someone again after this. The thought of starting over, of putting myself out there again, is terrifying. I'm not sure what I'm looking for by posting this. Advice, support, maybe just a place to vent. If anyone has been through something similar, how did you get through it? How do you start rebuilding your life after such a massive betrayal? Thank you for reading this far. Writing it all out has been hard, but also somewhat cathartic. Any thoughts or advice would be appreciated. Update 1. It's been about 2 weeks since I found out about Jessica's affair and asked her to move out. A lot has happened since then, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. Thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. Your support and advice have been a lifeline during this difficult time. I'm still staying with my friend Mark. He's been incredible through all of this. We've known each other since college. He was actually at the party where I asked Jessica to be my girlfriend all those years ago. It's strange to think about how much has changed since then. Mark has given me the spare room in his apartment. He's been making sure I eat regularly and get out of the house sometimes. Last weekend, he convinced me to go to a local art exhibit. It was the first time I'd done something purely for enjoyment since everything happened. It felt good to focus on something else for a few hours. I've been trying to keep busy with work. I have that big fashion show coming up in a few months, and I've been using it as a distraction. My team has been understanding, but I know they can tell something's off. I haven't told them the full story yet. It still feels too raw to talk about. Jessica has continued trying to contact me. At first, I ignored all her attempts, but last week I finally agreed to meet with her. I thought it would give me a chance for some closure. That turned out to be a mistake. We met at a coffee shop near my office. I chose a public place, thinking it would keep things civil and prevent any big emotional scenes. Jessica was already there when I arrived. She looked terrible, like she hadn't been sleeping. Part of me felt a twinge of concern, but I pushed it aside. As soon as I sat down, Jessica started crying. She begged for forgiveness, swearing that she had ended things with her boss and that it was a huge mistake. She said she loved me, that the past 8 years couldn't be thrown away over one mistake. I reminded her that it wasn't just one mistake, it was a year-long affair that she had actively hidden from me. I told her that I couldn't be with someone I couldn't trust. The Jessica I thought I knew would never have been capable of such deception. She argued that she was still that person, that she had just made a terrible error in judgment. But I couldn't see past the lies. That's when things took an unexpected turn. Jessica told me she's pregnant. She claims it happened the last time we were together, before I found out about the affair. But she admitted she couldn't be 100% sure if it's mine or her boss's. I was completely blindsided. Just when I thought this situation couldn't get more complicated. Jessica said she wanted us to raise the baby together, to use this as a fresh start for our relationship. I told her I'd need a paternity test if she keeps the baby. She got upset, saying she knew it was mine and accusing me of abandoning her and our child. I left the coffee shop feeling completely overwhelmed. I haven't told any of my friends or family about the pregnancy yet. I'm not sure what to do. Part of me hopes it isn't mine so I can make a clean break. But another part of me worries about potentially missing out on being a father. I always thought I'd have kids someday, but not like this. To make matters even more complicated, I got a call from Jessica's boss's wife yesterday. Apparently Jessica told him about the pregnancy too, and he confessed everything to his wife. She was understandably furious and wanted to meet with me to compare notes. We met for lunch at a quiet restaurant. Sarah, the boss's wife, is about 10 years older than me, and I could see the strain of the situation on her face. She filled me in on what she knew. Their affair had actually been going on for closer to 2 years, even longer than I realized. Jessica had been pushing for a promotion at work and things escalated from there. Sarah told me that she had suspected something was going on for a while. Her husband had been acting strange, always on his phone and working late. But he always had excuses, and she wanted to believe him. Finding out about the pregnancy was the final straw for her. She's filing for divorce. I found myself feeling oddly comforted talking to Sarah. Here was someone who understood exactly what I was going through. We exchanged contact information, both agreeing it was nice to talk to someone who really got it. After lunch, I went back to Mark's place and finally told him everything, about the pregnancy and meeting the boss's wife. He was shocked but supportive as always. He suggested I talk to a lawyer to understand my rights and options regarding the potential baby. I made an appointment with a family law attorney for next week. I'm hoping they can give me some clarity on how to proceed. I know I need to get a paternity test as soon as possible, but the thought of it makes this all feel too real. Jessica keeps calling and texting, wanting to talk more about the baby. I've told her I'm not ready and need some time to process everything. She's not taking it well and has started leaving emotional voicemails. I feel guilty ignoring her, knowing she might be carrying my child, but I'm just not in a place where I can support her emotionally right now. I'm feeling really overwhelmed by it all. Just when I thought I was starting to come to terms with the end of my relationship, this pregnancy has thrown everything into chaos again. I'm trying to take things one day at a time, but it's hard not to worry about what the future might hold. My parents keep asking when I'm coming home to visit. I haven't told them about any of this yet. I know they'll be supportive, but the thought of seeing the disappointment and worry on their faces is too much right now. I've been having trouble sleeping. Every time I close my eyes, my mind starts racing with all the possible outcomes of this situation. What if the baby is mine? Can I co-parent with Jessica after everything that's happened? What if it's not mine? Will I always wonder about the child that could have been? Work has become both a blessing and a curse. It's a good distraction, but I'm struggling to focus on designs when my personal life is in such turmoil. I'm worried about letting my team down if I can't pull it together for this upcoming show. I know I need to start making some decisions soon. About the apartment, about my relationship with Jessica, about how involved I want to be with this potential child. But every choice feels impossible right now. If anyone has dealt with a similar situation, how did you handle it? How do you make life-altering decisions when you're still reeling from betrayal? Any advice on how to stay sane through all of this would be really appreciated. Thank you again to everyone who has offered support. It means more than you know. Update 2: It's been about a month since my last update, and somehow things have gotten even more complicated. I'm still trying to process everything that's happened. First, some news about the pregnancy. There isn't one. It turns out Jessica was lying about being pregnant. I found this out when I finally agreed to meet with her again to discuss the paternity test and next steps. We met at the same coffee shop as before. Jessica looked nervous when I arrived. Before I could say anything, she broke down crying and admitted she had made up the pregnancy. She said she thought if I believed she was pregnant, I might give her another chance. She thought we could fake a miscarriage later if things worked out between us. I was furious. It felt like another huge betrayal on top of everything else. I couldn't believe she would lie about something so serious. I told Jessica I never wanted to see or speak to her again. I left the coffee shop and immediately blocked her number and all her social media accounts. But that's not even the biggest bombshell. Remember how I mentioned meeting with Jessica's boss's wife, Sarah? Well, we've been in touch fairly regularly, supporting each other through this mess. Last week, she called me with some shocking news. Sarah had hired a private investigator to look into her husband's finances as part of the divorce proceedings. The pie uncovered something huge. Jessica and her boss weren't just having an affair. They were embezzling money from the hotel. Apparently they had set up a scheme to funnel money from the hotel's accounts into their own personal ones. They had been doing this for almost 2 years, coinciding with the start of their affair. The amount stolen was staggering, close to $500,000. Sarah immediately turned over all the evidence to the police and the hotel's corporate office. Jessica and her boss were both arrested yesterday. It's all over the local news now. I'm in complete shock. I knew Jessica had betrayed me personally, but I never imagined she was capable of something like this. I keep thinking back to all the times she talked about work, wondering if there were signs I missed. Did she ever hint at having extra money? Were there lavish purchases I overlooked? The police contacted me to ask some questions, wanting to know if I had any knowledge of the fraud. Of course I didn't, but it was still a surreal and uncomfortable experience. They asked about our finances, if Jessica had ever asked me to hide money or make unusual purchases. I answered everything honestly, still reeling from the revelation. My phone has been blowing up with calls and texts from friends and family who have seen the news. Everyone is checking to make sure I'm okay. I appreciate their concern, but it's overwhelming having to relive it all every time I talk to someone new. I'm grateful I had already moved out of our old apartment and changed my number. I can't imagine having to deal with all the attention if I was still living there. Some reporters tried to contact me for comments, but I've been avoiding them. I don't want any part of this media circus. The whole situation has me questioning everything. How well did I really know Jessica? Were there signs I missed, not just about the affair, but about her true character? I've been going over our entire relationship in my head, trying to spot red flags I might have overlooked. I remember how excited Jessica was when she got promoted to senior manager. At the time, I thought it was just pride in her hard work paying off. Now I wonder if that was when the embezzlement started. Did her ambition push her to cross lines she never thought she would? I've been talking to my therapist about all of this. I started seeing her a few weeks ago, after the initial shock of the affair wore off. Now we have a whole new set of issues to work through. She's helping me deal with the shock and betrayal, reminding me that Jessica's actions are a reflection on her, not on me. It's hard to really believe that right now though. My parents finally convinced me to come home for a weekend. Seeing them was both comforting and difficult. My mom cried when she saw me, and my dad just gave me a long hug. They've been watching the news and were worried sick about me. We spent a lot of time talking everything through. They reminded me of who I am and the values they raised me with. It helped ground me a bit. I'm trying to focus on moving forward with my life. I signed a lease on a new apartment last week. It felt good to have a fresh start in a place with no bad memories attached to it. My sister helped me move in and we spent the weekend setting everything up. It was a good distraction. Work has been a challenge. My team has been understanding, but I know the upcoming fashion show is crucial for our brand. I'm doing my best to stay focused and creative, but it's not easy. I'm considering bringing on an assistant designer to help manage some of the workload. One unexpected bright spot in all of this has been my growing friendship with Sarah, the boss's wife. We've been meeting for coffee regularly, supporting each other through the legal proceedings and emotional fallout. It's nice to have someone who really understands what I'm going through. We're not romantic, we both have too much baggage for that, but I value her friendship. I'm still processing everything that's happened. Some days I feel angry, others I just feel numb. I'm trying to take it one day at a time and focus on rebuilding my life. The future I thought I had with Jessica is gone, and I'm still figuring out what comes next. If anyone has been through something similar or has advice on how to rebuild trust after such a massive betrayal, I'd really appreciate hearing it. Thanks again to everyone who has offered support through all of this. Update 3: It's been 6 months since everything imploded with Jessica, and I wanted to give one final update on how things are going. The legal proceedings against Jessica and her boss are still ongoing. From what I've heard through mutual acquaintances, they're both likely facing significant jail time for the embezzlement. I've done my best to stay out of it as much as possible. I gave my statement to the police and that was it. I have no desire to follow the case or know any more details. I've stuck to my decision to have no contact with Jessica. She tried reaching out a few times in the beginning through mutual friends, but I shut that down quickly. I made it clear I wasn't interested in any kind of reconciliation or even friendship. It was hard at first, but it's gotten easier with time. The hardest part has been rebuilding my ability to trust. For a while, I was suspicious of everyone around me. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, for someone else to betray me. My therapist has been really helpful in working through those feelings. I'm slowly learning that not everyone is like Jessica. I've been focusing a lot on my career and personal growth. The fashion show I mentioned in my last update was a big success. It was touch and go for a while, I almost considered postponing it. But with the help of my team and the assistant designer I hired, we pulled it off. The collection was well received, and I've gotten some great new opportunities from it. One of those opportunities is a chance to showcase my designs at Paris Fashion Week next year. It's something I've dreamed about since I started in this industry. I'm excited but also nervous. It feels like a big step forward in my career. I've also been spending more time with friends and family. I realized how much I had isolated myself in my relationship with Jessica. It's been nice reconnecting with people and building stronger friendships. My friend Mark, who let me stay with him right after the breakup, has become like a brother to me. I've started dating again, very casually. Nothing serious yet, but it's been good to put myself out there. I'm upfront about my past and the trust issues I'm still working through. The right person will understand and be patient. Sarah, the ex-wife of Jessica's boss, and I are still friends. We meet for coffee every couple of weeks. It's been interesting to see how our friendship has evolved. In the beginning, we were united by our shared trauma. Now, we're able to talk about other things, our careers, our families, our hopes for the future. She's started a new job and is slowly rebuilding her life too. Looking back, I can see now that there were red flags in my relationship with Jessica that I ignored. The long hours, the secretiveness about her phone, the sudden insistence on moving to a specific apartment building, all things that should have raised questions. I've learned a lot about setting boundaries and trusting my instincts. I'm working on forgiving myself for not seeing the truth sooner. My therapist reminds me that trust is not a weakness, and that Jessica's actions are not my fault. Some days I believe that more than others. One thing that's helped has been volunteering at a local community center. I teach a free art class for kids once a week. It's been rewarding to share my passion for design and see the kids' creativity blossom. It's also a good reminder that there's still a lot of good in the world. I still have bad days where the anger and hurt feel overwhelming. But they're becoming less frequent. I'm proud of how far I've come in the past 6 months. I'm sleeping better, eating healthier, and feeling more like myself again. This will be my last update on this situation. It's time to close this chapter and focus on the future. Thank you all again for your support.